Hi, everyone. My name is Mary McGillicuddy, and I am a project manager with an organization called Count Me In. And today I am going to tell you about our research studies and specifically talk to you about a project that we have in colorectal cancer called the Colorectal Cancer Project. So to give a quick overview of what I'll be talking about today, first we'll just touch on what is Count Me In. Then we'll talk about why the type of research that we do is important. We'll talk through the mission and the objective. We'll go over a little bit of the history about the studies that we've launched so far. I'll talk about how the projects work. We will touch on data sharing, and then I'll talk about the Colorectal Cancer Project and the specific aims of that study. And then we will close things out. So first, what is Count Me In? Count Me In is a nonprofit research initiative that engages patients and enables them to accelerate cancer research by sharing their samples, their clinical information, and their voices. And patients can do this all by registering and signing up for our studies online. So on the right here, you can see a picture of our homepage. This is just joincountmein.org, and patients can sign up for the studies there. And I'll talk more about how all of this works. But first, I want to give you a little bit of an idea of why we launched Count Me In the first place, and our mission and our objectives. So about 85% of US cancer patients are treated in community settings. And what that means is that all of these patients have medical records, they have samples, they have their stories, and they may have not been able to share this with the research community because they're treated in these community settings. We know that the vast majority of research happens at these large academic centers, yet the vast majority of patients are actually treated in these smaller community settings where research may not be available. And so, because of where we are with technology and social media and cultural changes, we have this opportunity to engage cancer patients and directly partner with them in this research. We can leverage all of these tools that we have online to work with patients and enable them to participate in research studies. And so to quickly just go over Count Me In's objective, it is to generate a publicly available database of clinical, genomic, molecular, and patient-reported data in cancer to accelerate discoveries and the development of new treatment strategies. And I will talk more about how we do that, but our mission is to enable cancer patients anywhere to share their information and samples with researchers everywhere. And so we have over 10,000 patients who have joined Count Me In Cancer Project so far. All of this really started with the launch of the Metastatic Breast Cancer Project in October of 2015. We later launched our second project, the Angiosarcoma Project, in January of 2017. And angiosarcoma is an exceedingly rare cancer and showed us how this type of research can be particularly impactful in rare cancer communities. Next, we launched another project in metastatic prostate cancer, followed by a project in October of 2018 in esophageal and stomach cancer. In September of 2019, we launched the Brain Tumor Project for patients with brain tumors. And then in February of 2020, we launched a project in osteosarcoma. In August of 2021, so just this past August, we reached a really important milestone and we launched Count Me In for all cancers, meaning any patient with any type of cancer diagnosed at any time is able to sign up for Count Me In now. And then in September of 2021, we officially launched the Colorectal Cancer Project, so a dedicated and focused study specifically for colorectal cancer patients. And so now I'll talk you through what the steps are for patients once they decide that they actually might want to sign up for Count Me In. So the first step is that patients are given the opportunity, once they go online and click Count Me In, to read and sign an electronic consent form. And so the consent allows us to do, as a study team, a few different things. So we can collect copies of patients' medical records, we can collect their survey responses, and a saliva sample. And then we also have some things that patients can opt into only if they're comfortable. So sharing archived tumor tissue, sharing a blood sample, and then also for colorectal cancer patients specifically, we offer them the opportunity to share a stool sample if they would like to. So once patients sign the consent form, the next step is for them to tell us where they've received their cancer care. So we just ask them to fill out information about all the different institutions they've gone to for their cancer care. And what that does is it enables our study team to request medical records. And then also, if they opted in to provide tumor tissue, we can use that information to also request archived tumor tissue for patients. Next, patients have the opportunity to respond to surveys about their cancer experience. So in these surveys, we ask questions like, when were you diagnosed with cancer? What different treatments have you been on? And we build these surveys alongside patients to make sure that they are kind of as easy and simple as possible, because we want to keep the burden for patients as low as possible to join the studies. For particular cancer types, we also have additional surveys available. So for example, for the Colorectal Cancer Project, we have a survey study for diet and lifestyle. And then we also have the ability to deploy additional surveys over time. We'll be launching a survey in family history soon for all patients. And it's really a way for patients to tell us as much as they're comfortable with through these surveys. All of the surveys are actually optional and all of the questions are optional. So patients can really do whatever they're up for and can always return and continue and finish a survey another time. Next, we will send a sample kit to participants' homes. So if they've consented to sharing a blood sample, stool sample, or saliva sample, we will send these kits directly to their homes. They can collect the sample and then mail the sample back to us using a pre-addressed package that we provide for them. After that, all of the really active steps for patients are done, but we do want patients to stay as involved as they want over time. We provide regular updates through quarterly newsletters. We share any discoveries or kind of status updates on social media on a regular basis as well. We want patients to be informed about what their contributions are enabling us to do. And like I said, we also may ask patients additional questions about their experience to help with future studies. So, deploying additional surveys for specific groups of patients or all patients is also a possibility. Next, I definitely want to touch a little bit on the data deposition and data sharing aspects of these projects. So once we have clinically abstracted information from medical records, we have all of these survey responses from patients, and then we also have whole exome sequencing and RNA sequencing that we've done on the samples. All of this data is de-identified and then deposited on a couple of different places. So the cbioportal.org and also the NCI's Genomic Data Commons. And so these are both platforms that researchers can use for different purposes for their studies. And so the data is deposited as it's generated. So just want to recap kind of what makes this whole Count Me In approach different. It is patient-centered, including patients who are treated in community settings, like I went over in the beginning. It enables more diversity in research for this reason. If we're able to reach people who are treated in more places, then we hope that it also will enable more diversity in research as well. For the same reason, we also have the potential to enroll very large numbers of patients with this type of research. The data is shared publicly as it's generated, and we have this patient-researcher partnership. So now I want to touch on the Colorectal Cancer Project. And really, the goal of the project is to help us better understand the landscape of colorectal cancer and treatment, And we hope that the data generated by this project will help the research community do just that. And like I mentioned before, anyone who has ever been diagnosed with colon or rectal cancer at any point is able to participate if they live in the United States or Canada. And there are also particular groups of patients that we're interested in studying through this research. So patients who are diagnosed with colorectal cancer at a young age, we know that this is a group that, is growing a lot, and we want to help contribute to the data that can help us better understand why this might be happening. In addition, we want to study individuals from marginalized communities who have historically been excluded from research, and we want to contribute additional data for patients who were diagnosed with metastatic colorectal cancer. And as I mentioned previously, there are a couple of aspects to this project that are unique. And one of those aspects is the opportunity for patients to provide a stool sample. And then additionally, we do have that diet and lifestyle survey for colorectal cancer patients specifically. And so before we wrap up, I just want to end here, which I think really underscores why this type of research is important to patients. Here you can see pictures of patients who have joined our studies over the years and shared, both pictures and quotes. So I'll read a couple of them. This project now gives purpose to my diagnosis. Every treatment day, I will smile, knowing it isn't just for me. And then another one, I want to live and watch my children grow up. But if I can't, then I want to leave a legacy and a cure. And so with that, I will just say thank you so much. I want to thank our Colorectal Cancer Project advocacy partners and most importantly, all patients who have joined us. If you have any questions at all about this at any time, you can reach out to info@joincountmein.org with questions. All right, thank you so much.